The Charles Camsell Hospital has many stories from survivors who were sent there. Indigenous peoples from the north were subjected to experimental vaccines and treatments. People like Victor Bruno, who were sent from a residential school to the Camsell Hospital for treatment from tuberculosis for 2 years in the early 1950s. He says staff were experimenting on children on needle size for vaccines.
The size of the needle, the kids call it spike needle. I didn't know what that meant. Till much later I learned what the spike, it did look like a nail because the size of the needle.
Gene Dubb is a developer. He wants to convert the hospital to condos. He is paying for the excavation to locate possible burial locations. This summer, ground-penetrating radar found several possible burial sites on the grounds. An excavation found no remains.
Even if burials are not found here, it's important to do this search, just so that people now know a little more about where their relatives might be.
A second ground-penetrating search found a possible 21 burial sites. Last week, a final excavation took place. Bruno attended the search.
The stuff they put in you, it's like famine. It just stung like a bee, you know. It burned. So yes, we definitely went through a lot of abuse. And once told my friend, you know, I felt like I went through a torture chamber.
The 2-day search of the 21 possible sites turned up no human remains.
It gives us peace of mind knowing that, well, none of our loved ones are here, or anybody else's loved ones as far as that goes. There's nobody here, which is a good thing now. Like I said, the big question is, where are they?
Other locations could be the Enoch Cree Nation, just west of Edmonton, and in St. Albert, north of Edmonton. Last week, APTN told a story of a former chief who never returned from the hospital and may be buried in an Enoch Cree Nation cemetery. Chief Calvin Bruno of the Papachase First Nation is an Edmonton-based band. He says the records were poorly kept at the hospital.
The research there's at least 9,800 people that were that we know of that passed on there, and you know, so if we can find at least 100 graves, then you know they're all accounted for. But it's just that you know they're buried in different places.
Chief Bruno says he is consulting with elders and Treaty 6 and 8 Grand Chiefs on what the next step is. He says he will talk to Enoch Chief Billy Moore.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to have the Grand Chiefs involved, and but yeah, no, I think it'd be a good idea to send him a message and see if they can look at maybe doing a ground search there.
He says the cost should be paid by the province and federal governments. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.